Lustig, lustig aus Spanien.
Thank you. Buenas tardes. Yeah. So you're in Spain. I'm in southern Austria. Just had a turbulent family reunion, like each year around New Year's Eve. But of course, we are going to speak about Chile. Most fascinating what's going on there. Can you tell me what your last informations are?
Yes, so I mean, this is a spectacular country, interesting geographically because of the people and because of the politics. And what's going on there in terms of the election, they just elected the new president, Boric, who's going to be represents the center left. I think it's my understanding, and they're also in the middle of a constitutional convention in which they're rewriting the constitution completely.
Yeah,
So
but
this is a
that had started well before the elections. So
yes,
you were in discussion with the Senate and you were in discussion with Chilean authorities and lawmakers and scientists and public representatives because something phenomenal is coming at us.
yeah,
Innovations, breakthroughs in neurosciences. And
exactly.
before we go into that, of course, the public worldwide, not only in Chile, United States, Europe, worldwide, is totally and absolutely unprepared for what is coming at us. Let's face it like that.
Absolutely.
And of course, the these facts, all these new facts, they always create norms. And these norms have to be created. Like when the automobile was invented and came into circulation, of course, we had to create new norms. The automobile first, then came the norms. And that means we have traffic lights now, which is an infringement on my personal freedom. I like to, to run a red traffic light when there's deep in the night and nothing is moving. And of course, speed limits and so on. Or a pandemic is hitting worldwide. It creates norms of behavior. You wear a face mask, you do certain things. But now with the innovations in neuroscience, we have to create new norms of behavior, meaning norms of, we have that already when we are thinking about freedom of speech. But now all of a sudden, freedom of thought is being challenged,
Yeah.
autonomy of thought. But Rafael, before we go into this, can you describe what are the phenomenal breakthroughs that you are
Yeah.
witnessing? You are part of it. You are the scientist.
Yes, so and this is an extraordinary moment that we're living in neuroscience because we're finally starting to understand how the brain works, and we're developing the technology, the neurotechnology that we call, to both access information from the brain and change brain activity, brain information. And the thing is, Werner, that the brain is not just another organ like your liver or your heart. The brain is the organ that generates your mind, all of your mental abilities, your perception, your thoughts, your memories, your feelings, your speech right now, your behavior, everything is generated up here. So by being able to access that information for the first time and changing, we are opening the box, the Pandora's box for the ultimate potential manipulation of the human being, the
Yeah,
infinite manipulation.
yeah.
Yeah,
But before you speak of manipulation, without manipulating me, you could, to a certain degree, already now read my thoughts. If you put
well,
a helmet on me
yeah,
records my brain activity, you can
yeah,
read my thoughts. So let's assume you are a secret service in a rogue country. You
yeah,
can tie me to a chair, put on a helmet on me, ask me some very delicate questions, and I don't even have to confess. You can
yeah.
read what I'm thinking. And
I
this
would
is
be
alarming. And
surprised. Yeah, yeah. I completely agree with you. I think I would be surprised if this has not been done yet undercover in certain parts of the world. Not because even though you cannot completely decipher what people are thinking, you can start to decipher with increasing ability, mental states, and even if you have a good model of the person, if you can
Yeah,
scan the person for a while, you can decipher the pictures that the person is conjuring in his head. No?
yeah.
So,
You
so
can.
we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, it's a very enhanced lie detector, so to
Yeah.
speak. But at the same time, there's a great blessing in it, and I have seen with my own eyes tests being made with persons who are locked inside of their own head. They had a stroke, and they cannot speak and they cannot react with their eyelids or anything anymore. And with sometimes with an implant or sometimes with reading through a helmet, you can get basic answers. Are you
Yeah.
feeling well? Yes or
Yeah.
no? And the person who cannot speak and express himself or herself anymore can give you responses. Do you
Yeah.
need something? Are you
Yeah.
thirsty? Uh, do you want the light dimmed down? Some very fundamental things can be improved for patients.
Yeah.
So the danger in it for rogue elements, and they have to be protected. But
Yeah.
at the same time, what I find most interesting in these legal initiatives is the fact it's not only a protection of us that we need, we also need an open access, the right the right of access. You see, when you are paraplegic and you cannot respond and you cannot explain, I want my brain being read for my basic needs. You as a patient should have automatically the right to have these tools at your disposal. Doctors, without being able to ask you, should be entitled to read your brain and know some of the very fundamental needs that you might have.
Absolutely. No,
So
I
it's a
think
two-way legislation.
well, this is the way that technology is always neutral. You can use it to help people, to help patients, to help mankind, or you can use it for nefarious consequences. And it's up to the legislators and to the societies to harness the technology so that they actually can
Yeah,
be used for the good of mankind. No? And everything you're saying is it's exactly right. No? This neurotechnology that could be so threatening to our mental privacy. At
yeah,
the same time, like our colleague Eddie Chang that we interviewed together at
yeah,
UCSF, his patients that are paralyzed with new technology can actually speak at 100 words per
yeah.
minute. No? So he can release them from these prisons
Yeah.
of
You can read
mental.
language. You can read
Yes.
language, but we are also capable, and I've also seen tests. You can do telepathy in very primitive forms. You make a fist and open your hand, and you can give telepathic orders that I do the same. And I will, it actually happens, and we have seen that. So,
Yeah.
in other words, what do you do now with the soldier in the bunker in South Dakota at a rocket silo who has to press the button to release an intercontinental devastating rocket towards God knows which enemy? So uh, we have to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
We have to have, at least we have to have guidelines, ethical guidelines, legal guidelines.
Exactly, exactly. So that's where we need the human rights that protect ourselves and they protect our brains, really, because by protecting our brains, we're protecting our minds. And this is something that was never necessary before because we didn't have the technology to get into the brain, but now we
Yeah,
have that.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So
And
so this
and why do you think that Chile? What explain about Chile? I love the country,
yeah
and all of a sudden it's at the forefront in the world, the first country of all nations who starts a legal procedure to change constitution and have it as a human right, as a constitutional amendment, the
Yes.
rights to our own thoughts.
So
In either way. Yeah.
There are three reasons, I think, why Chile has pioneered this neuroprotection legislation, the neuro rights, with the constitutional amendment and the Bill of Law. And the first reason has to do with the fact that Chileans are brave. This is a country of brave people. In order to go to that part of the world as an immigrant, you have to be pretty brave, because you have to go all the way to the end and cross the Andes or go around the Cape Horn. This is not easy. So
well, and that's a geopolitical advantage of Chile. You see, when you are living in Sicily, Sicily over millennia has been invaded by every single country in the Mediterranean: Carthage, Byzantium, Italy, the Spanish, the Normans, you just name it. And Chile has the advantage of having a natural border, the Andes, and on the other side, the Pacific Ocean. However, it's not completely undisputed. You have to acknowledge that, for example, Bolivia still wants access to the Pacific and in the strip of land. So, but it's unresolved. But ultimately, Chile is a blessed country which didn't have to undergo all these crazy fluctuations and movements of populations. However, of course, the conflicts of Chile, if we are speaking of any interior, Chile has experienced a time of dictatorship with torture and all these things. It has internal problems with the indigenous population. It will be solved. It has been there for centuries, but it has to be solved, and it will be solved in a decent way. I assume Chile, as it is it's a very progressive, very advanced country with great advanced agriculture, great advanced poetry, a country of many blessings. It's such a blessed country. And of course, in ecology, they are very far advanced. And they are advanced because they are blessed with Patagonia. They are blessed with the desert. They are blessed with the Andes. They are blessed with the Pacific. So it's a very wonderful country.
I share your love and admiration for Chile. I think also the fact that they had this troubled past with respect to human rights and torture and dictatorship has made Chile very sensitive. Chilean society is very sensitive to human rights issues. In fact, it's not a coincidence that the High Commissioner of Human Rights for the whole world, for the UN, is Chilean, former President Bachelet.
I did not know,
Yes, and if you go to international organizations, very often you find Chileans as the top experts in human rights, because they take pride of being strong in something that has affected them so dearly. But then on top of that, something that's that's not well known about Chile, which is very remarkable, is that they have a very modern legislative system. So, for instance, the Senate of the Republic has this office, the Committee for the Future, that introduces legislation based on science and the latest science and medicine. And this is exactly why Chile. These are the three reasons: the brave character of the people, and the human rights sensitivity, and the modern legislative system that has made Chile.
By the way, Rafael, I should mention, and you know that I have been invited by the senatorial committee, and I'm very grateful, very thankful. Unfortunately, I'm torn around between Europe, and I have some 2 films to finish and 2 books to release. So I can't be there right at this moment, but I really appreciate this attention, and that Chile sees me as well, as much as we see Chile. And what I find particularly fascinating is that you are in Madrid. Spain has gotten somehow the itch to start legislature, and
Yes.
the United Nations. You yourself and a few others colleagues of yours spoke to the United Nations, and to the also the American presidency, to the White
Yep.
House. You had
Yep.
meetings. So there
Yep.
seems to be something coming. Chile is
Yep.
only the vanguard, the
Yes.
shining,
Well,
the shining example out there.
I think the people in Spain, in the UN, and in the US government are looking now at Chile, at what the Chileans have done and are doing with respect to protection of brain activity. And I know, Werner, that you cannot be at the Congress of the Future this year, but I will bring your words and your voice and this recording to the Chilean Senate, and so that the Chilean people can listen to it
Yeah. No,
directly as if you were there. Yeah.
Rafael, thank you very much, and I salute everyone in Chile, including, of course, the Senate. But I want to come to Chile for other reasons. I have this. It's very advanced because I'm kind of recognized as a filmmaker. But since 4 decades, I keep saying my prose and my poetry will probably live longer than my films. And Chile is a country that is going completely wild when I show up and I read from new books. So I will come to Chile this year, and I'm sure I will read new things, and I will have discourse about poetry, and not only my poetry in general, Chilean poets. So that's a good country, the right soil for returning. So it's not that
Wonderful.
I'm not permanently absent. And of course, we have done some filming in Chile for the new film that we did together, Theater of Thought, which will be released. We don't know exactly when, but sometime this year. And we will show it in Chile, of course, as well, because Chile has a word in it, and it has a brief presence in it as well. So we
Why
should
don't
go
we?
there together. We
Exactly?
should travel
Why don't we do
together.
that? Let's
Yeah,
go together to Chile to for the presentation of the movie, of the film.
yeah, we should do that. That and poetry and friendship and everything that's good in life. We should go there. And
Wonderful,
Rafael,
Werner.
yeah, let's do that. So Rafael, we'll see each other in, well, probably New York first or wherever, but we should try to go together to Chile. Let's try and meet there. All right, and best of luck
Let's
to the Chileans for this
thank
new
you.
year 2022. May it be a wonderful, progressive, good, solid year for them and for you as well.
Thank you, Werner. Take care.
Okay.